Greetings, greetings. Hope everybody is well, and I hope that you are swell. On today's episode 15, we're going to be discussing what's it like being an adult in 2025. So it's going to, again, nice, simple, and chill episode today. We are going to be looking to get some potential guests on in the future as well. We do have a couple lined up. But yes, only time will tell. How are you, mate?
Yeah, you know, being fantastic.
Living the dream, living the dream. Right. What's it like living in 2025 as an adult?
I mean, it's got its ups and downs, isn't it? Like,
Mm,
at least it ain't like COVID time anymore.
that's true. That's true. I think some people are still sort of healing over the COVID time
Yeah,
because there's been a massive uprising in mental health issues since COVID. Um, I know I've had my ups and downs. I know a lot of people that watch my streams, and also people out there on YouTube as well. They've suffered greatly during the pandemic. Um, but I must admit, though, uh, the current state, especially in the UK, is not particularly great. It's awful.
yeah. I can always remember just before COVID happened as well. Like, I can always remember it because at the
Yeah,
time I was in Bournemouth and I was going to go and watch a gig.
yeah,
And I can always remember like all those like people were talking about it. And obviously at the time everyone's going to downplaying it. Then I was at a gig in Bournemouth. Then when I come back, a couple days later, and then I was like, I'm glad I'll see that gig before that happened.
yeah. Um, I just want to say
Oh,
massive thank you to Victoria. No, not even Victoria. Sorry, Alex. Alex with the 5 gifted subs on the stream. So thank you ever so much. Big shout out to Alex. He's also a Twitch streamer as well. So Alex the Reaper 107. Make sure you check him out. Um, that's throwing me off a little bit now. Um, so yeah, like it was. You know what? It was crazy when the pandemic happened. It was legit like a movie.
yeah,
We were all forced to stay at home, only go out if it's absolutely necessary. Um, and honestly, it was nuts. Absolutely, it was like a movie. It really
yeah.
was like a movie. And then like a year or two later, we found out that Boris was having parties in 10 Downing
But
Street.
then again, they was all doing it. It was
Oh
only
yeah,
because he was prime minister at the time. He got most of the flack for it, didn't he?
mm,
But they was all doing it. I mean, they was there with him. So
yeah.
because Bury's prime minister, obviously, he's gonna get the thing. But to be fair play, though,
Yeah,
Boris, he was funny doing it.
unique.
He was a unique specimen, old Boris.
He's the British equivalent of Trump in regards to stupidity and memes.
Yeah, pretty much.
Wibbly wobbly.
But so I'll say Boris done better than pretty much all the ones come after him, pretty much.
And yeah, I do agree. Like, obviously the current Labour Party leader, Keir Starmer, he's an absolute muppet. He,
Yeah,
he really is. Rishi Sunak as well. He was a muppet as well.
a billionaire Muppet, by the way. I'm pretty
Yes,
sure he's the
yeah.
only prime minister ever to be a billionaire while in power. So
Oh, honestly, but yeah, it's but yeah, like Boris was an absolute specimen of an individual. Um, because some of the stuff he said, like Victorian in chat, she goes, "You invertebrate jellies." Like he's an absolute moron. And when for me, my favorite moment he did was when he played rugby against
yeah,
the.
uh,
I think they were Japanese kids,
kids, yeah,
and he absolutely
absolutely battered one
plowed
of them.
through one of them.
Yeah, absolutely battered
Like
him, didn't
why?
he? I'll say my favourite Boris moment. He played in Soccer Aid once,
Oh, didn't he
and
slide tackle Ollie Mears?
he didn't slide tackle him. He gored him. Like
He
honest,
rugby tackled him.
no, literally, he ran towards him, but he fell over as he got to him. So he sort of like headbutted him as he went down. I can't. Every time I piss myself because it's so Boris. But Boris got up, acted like nothing happened. He just carried on going. Ollie Murs is in bits. And, oh, I
He-
can't.
oh,
Every time I think about it, it makes me laugh. Like this, honestly, if you've ever watched it, you got to watch it because just the way he goes down, and he
yeah,
headbutts Ollie Murs pretty much in his private area, and like
yeah.
he's in bits. Boris just gets up and starts jogging off. So, yep, yeah,
Oh,
brilliant.
it was hilarious, and like he said some really strange things. Like when the London Olympics came around, he suggested about rubbing the stadium with rhubarb.
Yeah,
Apparently, that will give us better luck. We had when he did the zip line with
yeah. I was
aiming
just
the
thinking
flag.
about that. Yeah, and he got stuck, didn't he?
Honestly, he's an absolute moron. There's males, there's females, and then there's Boris.
Boris,
He's
there's
just
literally Boris.
oh jeez. Um, can I just say it is absolutely boiling
It
today.
is honestly like
I am sweating,
if the camera went on, this wouldn't be on. That's all I'm saying.
mate. Like I am literally sweating like a nun in a cucumber farm right now.
Mm.
Like I'm so moist.
Unless we just moved podcast to OnlyFans and for the summer.
That's always an option.
You know?
But yeah, like in today's day and age, especially for like the working class, the people that are fortunate enough to be able to work, you don't work to live
No.
or have a living. You work to survive now.
Yeah. I mean that's what it is, isn't it? Like that's the society we live in. If you don't work, you don't survive. It's simple as that.
Hmm.
And obviously everything like recently the gas just went up as well.
Oh, council tax!
Council
It's
tax
ridiculous.
it's all going up, but the wages are staying here. And it's
Mhm.
they're just creasing it up. It's the same again with the supermarkets. Inflation's gone down,
Yeah,
but they keep increasing the prices. Like eggs we used to buy, right? There was like I can't remember what they're called, but they're really nice. They used to be like £2 something,
yeah. Well, for like a dozen or
6 I think.
yeah,
It was like, see, they
half
wouldn't.
a dozen.
There's quite decent eggs, so there's like, a little bit of money. But now they've gone up from like say £2 they were to like £3.20 now.
It's ridiculous.
Like and like certain like sausages I used to buy were like
Sausages.
£1.50.
Yeah.
Now they're like £2.50. You need £3, and they're never in stock.
It honestly is beyond. Like because like I own my own home, so I got a mortgage to
Mm.
pay. I got to pay council tax, water, electric, this and that. Now, fortunately, in regards to electric, we don't have to spend that much because we do have solar panels on our roof, and
Well,
it
there you
does
go.
help out a lot.
Mm.
But gas is an absolute rip off. Water is just
Yeah.
increasing. The mortgage rate, the percentage has gone down, so the interest rate has gone down, but it's still extortionate.
Hmm.
Um, it honestly is ridiculous. I'm spending easily with bills over £1,000 a month
Yeah.
just to live in my house, and my house is not fancy.
No.
It's your typical 3-bed ex council house.
Well, the thing that's where I live, right? I don't know what the house prices in like, Wales are, but where I live, for a prefab, which they can put up in a week, they used to cost around about say just over 100 grand. Now you're looking at 300 grand for this prefab, like no joke. And where I live ain't the best area at all.
Hmm.
It's just one big council estate. Literally, it's houses as far as you can see. There's not really nothing else. Like if you want to go
Yeah.
and do something, you got to go 40, 50 minutes out your way
Yeah.
to actually like go and do something. There used to be like 4 or 5 pubs around here, but they all shut down because Weatherspoons pretty much just killed the pub industry.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, like 300 grand for a prefab, which costs about, I think, to put a prefab up, I think it costs them about 70 grand. Because I've been on building sites where we've done prefabs, and you can knock them up really quick.
Yeah.
Like you could probably do a whole one probably now in probably about 4 days, 4 or 5 days. You can just have up. Like I've been on sites where we just gone through because I just do a lot of groundworks.
Yeah.
So we just do all the groundwork and all the piping into the houses and all this. But yeah, for 300 grand though, it's over $250,000 when you actually think about it.
Yeah, it is. And it's ridiculous because, like, for example, so my house is an ex-council house, and I will always pick an ex-council house compared to like a new build because for me, with my previous experiences, council houses are built much better compared to newly built because they always have drainage issues. There's always something wrong with them. ex council house. You can't go wrong. It's built like a brick shit house. You're loving
Yeah.
life. And we bought this just before COVID. If we were to sell this now, like, don't get me wrong, we've had some work done to it.
Yeah.
If we were to sell this now, we would be looking 210, 220 potentially. We paid less than half of that 5 years ago. 6 years ago.
That's crazy. Like, here, you got no chance of that. Like, if you buy an house here, you would earn no money on it. You'd literally get back what you paid, or even less, depending on the market at the time. Like, you wouldn't get more. So, say you paid, like, say 280, 300 grand, that's what you'd get.
Yeah.
That you won't get any more than that. So you won't earn no money. You just get back the money you already spent. So round here, if you buy an house, you just got to stay there. Really, you pretty much buy it for your children. That's what you do. So then they can get off and say. But if you want to, like, say, move in the future, you're just gonna get the money back you already spent, which is obviously not too bad. Like, if you spend 300 grand, but then again, that's gonna take what, depending on your job. Say you got an average job, say 300 grand. It's gonna take about, what, 40 years to pay off.
Yeah, like we did something that was very intelligent. So we used to work for a bank, and we had like colleague discount sort of stuff with our mortgage. So during the pandemic, the interest rate was, I think it was 0.5%. Due to our sort of discount rate, we were paying 0.1%. So when we took out the mortgage, we took it out at 31 years. I think, yeah, it was about 31 years.
Yeah.
We got it down to 21. So we knocked off 10 years within a matter of a year. So, and that was just because we were throwing extra money into it, because we knew eventually it's going to skyrocket. Yeah. So we thought, if we do this, it will lower the actual, like, coming in a few years' time. Our mortgage payment would still roughly be the same, but it would be over a shorter span of time. Because, like, this ain't our forever home.
No.
By all means, like, we're gonna want something bigger potentially, or even downsized, depending on how quick we bloody age. But it's just ridiculous. Like, places in Wales, like Wales, for example, South Wales, you could buy like this house, right? So I paid 121,000. I got a 3-bed house with a front garden, back garden, and I got a 3-car drive. Okay. If you go to Cardiff, all right, the capital of Wales, you could pay double that for a 2-bed flat.
Yeah, no joke.
London is even worse.
Yeah, London. I've done a lot of work in London, and we drove down the street once, and one of the boys who was our own boy Stevie, he was just there on his phone, and he looked at the street was going there because he was stuck in traffic because it's London. Wherever you go, it's just traffic, and it's just like, do you know, on this road, the cheapest house is 1.2 million, right? And it was nothing special.
Yeah.
Driveway was tiny, and it was only a 2-story house. Right. Also, we don't know what the bats are, but as we went down, some of them were like quite nice, but some of them were boarded up, and they still want 1.2 million for them.
Mate, for 1.2 mil, you could I'm not exaggerating, you could buy a mansion, a good 8-bedroom mansion with every room with an ensuite, even a swimming pool in South Wales for that. Yeah. 1.2 easily.
Is it your house, what you described, what you got? If you bought that here, that would probably cost you about 500 grand here. Like, no joke. Like, if a prefab need cost 300,000,
you can only imagine. Yeah.
But yeah, like, none of them got like driveways. Like, they got a driveway, but you get one car on it. Then some of them don't even have driveways. They don't even have a front. Yeah. There's literally the house, then the pavement.
Yeah.
Then they got to park on the verge, so they don't even have parking. They got to park on the verge.
I just don't get it how people can afford, because, like you said, the wages just stay where they are. They might increase a tiny, tiny bit, but everything else is just it's playing the game of catch up. You never.
Well, that's most people get a pay rise of, like, I don't know, like, I think my dad recently got 5%. One for like 10p. Like, you got 10p pay rise. Because the minimum wage went up as well. Not the minimum wage. The government done saying the wage is supposed to be like £15 an hour, but they didn't increase the minimum wage to match it. So everyone's like, all the companies like, well, we'll just stay on minimum wage. If you're not going to increase that, why would you willingly give people like £15 an hour? Like, why would you? It's it's stupid. Especially like recently, I was talking to my mate who just had the baby. Well, I say just 2 year old now,
Yeah, yeah.
and
That's nuts.
yeah,
A
like
year-old.
we was
Jesus.
talking the other day, and he's saying he's not even moved out yet, and the expenses are ridiculous. Like he put his daughter in nursery for a day and a half, right? For a day and a half, it was just over £100.
Yeah.
Yeah, for a day and a half, and he worked there
Yeah.
with discount, by the way.
Yeah.
And he said most people actually spend nearly £2 a month just on the nursery.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how do
Well,
people get the money for this? Like seriously.
well, that was the thing. So
Mm.
when my son was a baby, we found it cheaper to have a childminder than it was to go to a nursery.
Nursery, yeah.
So with this childminder, Donna, she was absolutely phenomenal. Shout out to Donna. She, I think we used to pay. It was between some months would be like 900 quid, some months would be about 1100.
Mm.
But she wouldn't just have my son; she would have like three, four other
Yeah.
kids.
Mm.
I was looking at Jess. I was like, we're in the wrong bloody
Bit of
job.
business, yeah.
Let's be
Like they don't.
honest to God.
Honestly.
And all she has to do is take him out to like a play center, put the
Mm.
TV on, make him some food, and that's it.
But then again, you got all that pressure looking after someone's kid, though, and it's like something bad
Yeah, but it's
happened.
easy.
You know what
Oh
I
yeah,
mean?
something bad
Bad
happens, then
happened,
yeah,
yeah. Like all the
you're in the
blame's
shit.
on you, innit? So like you
Yeah,
have got that pressure of obviously you got to keep that child safe 100%. Obviously, you
yeah,
know what children are like; they just run off anywhere, don't they? So
yeah,
I also imagine it's quite stressful. But then you earn that sort of money.
yeah. Like during the 6 weeks holiday, we could never book her in because
Mm.
like with all the money she earned, she was on like a holiday every week.
Yeah, but yeah, I would be.
Yeah, yeah, bloody too right. But it's just crazy because I always recommend for people to get on the property ladder
Yeah.
in regards to like buying a house, but it's just so
It's
expensive
impossible.
now.
Like, in this day and age, unless you got
Yeah,
some sort of good back, and it's like my cousin. That's how he's a millionaire, and that's how he made these millions years ago. This was he got on the property
yeah,
when it was quite cheap, and like, he had a bit of money anyway. So he thought, you know what, I'm going to buy all these properties up while they're cheap. Now he's laughing because now
yeah.
like, he owns like a £3 million house, like 45 minutes away from here. And it was a farm at first. Actually, we bought it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he turned the farmhouse into his own house and all that, and then he's got this whole land next to him what he owns as well. So
All right.
altogether, if he wanted to sell it, he probably earn about 5 million if he really wanted
Yeah.
to. But to get on the property ladder, like, unless you actually got some money behind you, you can't do it. Like
No, in today's day and age, you've
no,
got no chance.
no,
And like, don't get me wrong, when you rent, there's absolutely nothing wrong with renting.
no.
Absolutely nothing wrong because at least you'll have your own place, your own privacy, this
Mm,
and that. But then obviously people like are sort of forced to rent to then be able to save for a mortgage. But renting is dead money because you're just paying someone else. You physically can't afford to set money aside.
no, like because obviously you'll like private rent around where I live. I kid you not,
Mm,
for a month, which I know people, my cousins pay, 1,400 a month. Private rent,
that's nuts.
yeah, private. And even like council rents now nearly 1,000, I think. Or even close to that, or a little bit less. But private rent where
Yeah,
I am, some people charge like 1,400 a month just for the rent. And then say you got your all your bills on top of that. So
yeah.
you probably look in your outgoings 2.5, 3 grand a month nearly.
It's ridiculous. Like my
Mm,
mum, she lives in a very similar style house to mine. The only difference really is her front garden is much smaller than
mm,
ours. And so before the pandemic, she was paying £390 a month for rent through the council, which is really fucking good. Um, After the pandemic, she was spending about £700-800.
yeah. Mm,
It's just
mm,
ridiculous.
yeah.
And the worst thing is then everyone, the taxpayer, is the one then that's left with the government bill to sort of reimburse. It's ridiculous,
Yeah.
absolutely
Yeah. Oh
ridiculous.
yeah.
And also, you got people on benefits, which is absolutely fine.
Yeah.
There's some genuine people there that need
Yeah.
that extra assistance. But then you do get people that take the piss.
Oh yeah. I know
Now,
loads of people that. I know loads of people that
a member of
taking it.
my family does it,
Yeah.
and I always have a go at her for it. But hey, well, there's only so much I can do.
Yeah.
And it doesn't help the situation. It really
Well,
doesn't.
well, that's the thing as well. Like, you know, I'm on job seekers myself because
Mm.
I've had like, a lot of health issues over the years, but we won't get into that. Like,
Yeah.
no joke, right? How they actually get paid the money they get paid is beyond me. Like, the amount of times I've been there and they've barely checked if I've applied anything. Like, then I can prove it like, to them because they tried to catch me out once, and I just got all the emails out saying, yeah, I've applied for all these. But like,
Yeah.
they don't even like look for jobs for you. That you go
Nope.
there, sit down, and you go blah blah blah. What you look for? All right, yeah. See you in 2 weeks. See, like,
Yeah.
a lot of people blame the people claiming it, but when there's actual people who actually want to get a job out there,
Mhm.
it's not their fault. It's the actual job centre. Because years ago, like my mum said years ago, you used to go in there because there used to be two things you had to do. You had a job centre, and you had a place where you go to sign on. It was two
Yeah.
separate things.
Yeah.
And in the job centre, you'd go in. There'd be a big board, all jobs, and you had to pick one. You picked one. You gave it to them. They set the interview up for you, so they
Yeah.
knew you was going for that interview. They do
Yeah.
it all for you. Now you go in.
Well,
Nothing.
it's like when I came out of the army. So
Mm.
they continued my pay with the army for about 4, maybe 6 months after I left.
Mm.
And then that's when I really struggled to get work. So I had to sign on because
Yeah.
it was something. And I used to catch the bus and it used to take me about 40 minutes to get there. And at this point, my partner was pregnant at the
Mm.
time. And we'll be there, a 40-minute journey. I'll be there for 10 minutes. And they would only want to talk about Jess and obviously the
Yeah.
pregnancy. They not once did they ask, "Oh, have you been searching for any
Yeah.
jobs? This and that." And all I had to do, and don't get me wrong, I would apply for jobs that I wanted to do, and I thought I'd be best fitted. Because I didn't want to apply just for absolutely anything because I put some money aside, so I wasn't in
Yeah.
dire need. But I did want to go into a job I could be comfortable in.
Mm.
I literally I just write down on a bit of paper like
Yeah.
just random sites I've been on and roughly how long I've been on it. I'll show her the list and she'll be like, "Yeah, that's fine," and then
Yeah.
off I pop.
Yeah, because it used to be on a bit of paper, and now you do it all online
Yeah,
now these days. But that's
yeah,
what I used to do like, years ago when I first, because when I got made redundant from my first job, then after that I signed on. And like,
yeah,
again, that bit of paper, you put anything down. No Joe used to walk in there, matey. You should only open because I had to fold it up. He used to open it so he can sign it and give it back to me. And that was it.
yeah,
Which is like, again, like, you're supposed to be a job centre.
yeah. You're
So,
supposed to be there to help the public.
to actually find people jobs. Because I know they have been told recently now they have to actually like, get
Yeah,
themselves in gear because like again like you go there and that's another thing as well what winds me up, right? Last time I was there, like this Wednesday actually I was there, they were 15 minutes late for my appointment, right? So I was 15 minutes over. Now if you're 1 minute late you'd get sanctioned.
yeah. You would. Yeah, you
Yeah,
get everything cut.
and it wasn't busy. There was two people in there and I was one of them. So
Yeah,
it's like they're saying they're really busy and like swamped out. Not like all the times I've been in there, maybe at most I think I've seen about 6 people in there, and I've been one of them. I'm one of those 6.
yeah.
And it just winds me up. It does
It
wind me
does,
up.
and that's the thing. So like when I used to receive payments from them, so I was still living with my at my mum's house at the time.
Mm.
I used to give her 50% to cover like basically my rent
Yeah.
in hindsight because I wanted to help out.
Mm.
And you don't get much from it at all. I think I used to get like 180 quid a month, if that.
Yeah. It's about that back then.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and like you can't live on 180
No.
quid a month. You really, in logical sense, you can't. Especially
No.
if you've got a family, you
No.
just
No. You
can't.
can't. It's impossible.
And like even with childcare, so obviously for our son, we get I think it's £100 a month.
Mm.
Even when he was a baby, that didn't scratch the
No.
surface because we had to. Also, you got to get clothes, you got to
Yep.
get formula, you got to get nappies, wet wipes,
And also they're
nappy sacks.
constantly growing. Also the clothes you just bought are no good in a couple of weeks, so you got to buy more
Oh,
and then buy more and buy more.
it
Mm.
doesn't like it helps out, but very
A
little.
little, yeah.
And I do feel really bad for the people with families and people that genuinely want to work,
Mm.
and they're just not getting the help that they need.
No.
It's infuriating. And
No.
then you got the people that refuse to get to look for work,
Yeah.
and they're just happy to take in like
Well,
200 quid a
I've
month.
known people who are like around about 24 now, 25, have never worked
Mm.
and just been on benefits since literally they left school.
I've been working since I was like 14.
I think I had my first job, my proper first job, at about 17, even though I was supposed to be 18, but we knew the people,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that's just like, go on, get on there.
yeah.
Just won't tell anyone.
Because like yeah, because my first proper job was the army, and that was when I
Mm.
was 16. But I used to do paint and decorating and labouring from
Yeah.
14 onwards. But it was a different world back then.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like, now, you need qualifications for what you're asked. Like, it's annoying. And even in, like, when you apply for a job now, most of them have got like 8 pages you got to go through.
Oh,
And they ask you some of the most like random questions. It's like, look, what's this got to do with the job? Just let me apply
Yeah.
for the job. You know what I mean? That gets on my nerves and all sometimes.
But that's the thing. Like, so I've been through quite a few interviews in my life,
Mm.
and not once have I ever been asked what GCSEs do you have.
Yeah, no.
Not once.
I couldn't tell them anyway if they asked me because that was at least 16 years ago. I can't remember what I got, but like, even then, I've never been asked. Didn't even show
I've never
proof
been
of them or anything like that.
No, unless it's like accounting or something. But
Yeah.
I don't know. You never get asked for like a normal
Well,
job.
even
Like, even like
in accounting now, you got calculators. So.
exactly. It's backwards. And like schools, for example, like why did I have to learn about mice and men and fireflies and stuff like that? Don't get me wrong, good books, good movies, but what can I use from that in a real life
Well,
situation? You can't.
that's the thing. Like back into our parents' day, especially my parents' day. Like my mum said, all the women learnt like house work, like how to like, clean, sew, all this.
Yeah.
The men would learn like welding, all this. Like my old man used to do fencing, like the actual sport, like
Oh, yeah,
fencing. He actually used to do that in school. Obviously, they stopped that years ago, but they actually learn like life basics in school. Now
Yeah.
you go to school, like don't get me wrong, some bits all right, but like again, I learned a lot about Macbeth, like to play Macbeth and that, and like I've been at school for 16 years and Macbeth ain't come up once.
Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
like long as you can like add, subtract, and like
Times
times
five.
and divides and divide, that's sort of what you need basically
Mm.
in life, because you ain't gonna do like massive long like equations. You just get a calculator these days. You know what I mean? But
Yeah, and algebra can honestly eat a bag of dicks.
yeah,
I have never seen that again, and I don't want to
again,
unless I'm making
they
meth.
should teach you about credit cards and all, because they don't teach you about credit
Yeah,
cards, and people don't know how that works. Because
yeah.
a lot of people don't realise it ain't your money you're spending; it's the bank's
Well,
money.
I learned that pretty quick. So
Mm.
I had this was only a few years ago. I had my first ever credit card. Don't get me wrong, it felt amazing because I could literally get what I want and then pay for it after. But you don't realize how quickly that stuff stacks.
Yeah, because the interest rate on it and all.
Well, I was fortunate enough that I had a 0% credit card. Some people end up having like a 24%
Yep.
APR.
Mm.
And it just like for every pound you borrow, it's 24 pence you pay additional. Now, if you borrowed a pound, you have to pay an extra 24 pence. That doesn't sound bad.
No.
But when you've got £100 on it,
Yeah.
£500 on
Yep.
it, £1,000 on it, it stacks massively.
Oh yeah. And look, people don't realise some people pay for holidays on their credit cards. Like say they spend $5,000, but they don't take account of the interest rate. And if you make a payment late, they put more money on top of it. So then it just builds and builds and builds. Look, I've never personally had a credit card myself.
I honestly I do not recommend it to anyone.
No, like, I know my brother's got one, but he buys one thing on it each month, then pays it off because then he just builds it.
Like insurance or something.
But no, he's credit score, so he's always like building his credit score up. Because then he's gonna have a good credit score because he's like buying. I don't know, like he recently bought himself an iPad. I think he bought that, and he could have bought that outright anyway, but he just want to pay it off. So then he's always got his credit score there for when he does eventually buy his own place.
Yeah, well, it was like that thing when obviously I was looking at a new PC. The PC I would like I know nothing about PC, so I did a really rough built one, and it was going to cost like 1,600 quid. At a 24% APR, I would end up spending £2,200 on it. Like, that's a massive difference. That's what, 600 quid extra?
Yeah, yeah. And it all depends on what's actually in the PC as well. Depends if it's even
Yeah.
worth it as well.
Yeah.
Because a lot of these places will rip you off.
Oh yeah.
They will rip you off. It's like PC World. When I first went there to get a PC many, many years ago, I walked in, because this is just after I've had my first job. And obviously, you've got a bit of money, so you're like, yeah, I want to go spend it. And I had my mate with me who knew a little bit about PCs and that. We walked in, it was like for like one stick of RAM and all this and not a great graphics card. It was done for £1,000. And it was like, my mate went, this time around and walk off. Literally, we just walked off. Literally, because mate went, what's your budget? He went, this is it. But those sort of places rip you right off. You got to find those sort of, like, the PC I've got, brilliant. I spent £800 from it for a company called Scan. Not sponsored, maybe one day. But I've had it well over a year now. Not one single problem.
Yeah.
Not one problem. I spent £800 on it.
Well, that's the thing. Like, and with credit cards, it's an easy way out for the people that want to sort of make, like, especially for families. So like for like a mum or a dad, and they want to make Christmas like that extra bit special for their kids, which I completely understand.
Yeah.
My mum was one of them. You'd make the best Christmas for that kid imaginable, but then you're paying the repercussions for it.
Yeah. I mean, it's. I'm not a parent, so I don't actually understand that, but I can see why people would do it. Like, my mum and dad done it, like, for years.
Yeah.
Like, there come to a point where my old man worked for 3 years straight, not one day off in 3 years, just to make ends meet. That was years ago. That was like 20 odd years ago. But yeah, they do that just so you can have a good Christmas as well. And you'd probably do the same for your son. So.
Oh, 100%. And that's the thing with kids. Like, kids nowadays are becoming more and more spoiled.
Oh, so back in the day, we didn't have no iPads or anything like that. Like,
we were always outside.
Yeah, like, basically, I was always outside. Ain't wrong, I like the gaming and that, but like when I was actually allowed to go outside, I was out like nearly every day, playing in the mud and getting in all sorts of mischief. Yeah. But like, this day and age, you don't really see kids out these days.
No, and if you do see kids out, it's always bad news. Always.
Bad news bears.
And for me, I blame the internet for that. And don't get me wrong, I'm not perfect. Like, with my son, he goes out with his mates. That's if to like a play center or an arcade or whatnot. But I wouldn't feel comfortable in him going outside on his own.
No, I mean, he's still quite young, isn't he? Was he 8?
7.
7. So he's 7. That's still quite young. I don't think I was allowed outside until I was like 13. I don't think.
Oh, for me, like, I was out and about at that age, but I was only allowed in my street because it was like a dead end street where I used to live. But like, the amount of stories you hear online about, PDF files, if you want to call them that, and stuff like that, it's a scary world. It really is.
Yeah.
And for as a parent, obviously, your sole purpose is to protect and provide for your kid.
Yeah.
And I honestly, I would much rather him be in the house playing on his Xbox, whatnot, and I know that he's safe. But it's also infuriating because I'm thinking like, look all the games like I've played, like when I was outside, like Fox and Hounds, British Bulldogs, stuff like that, Curbsy.
Yeah.
You probably won't really experience that.
Yeah. Do you ever play Bum? It's not what it sounds like.
I was going to say,
it's like a little football game.
I was going to say, is it? We just call it Arsies.
It could be Arsies, yeah. We just call it Bum down here, and like you had to we used to like kick the ball up against the wall, and you had to turn it back without taking a touch on the floor. Never did. You got B. Then if you did it 3 times, you got Bum. So basically, what you had to do is go out against the wall, bend your hands, all that, and everyone had to boot the ball at you and see if you can hit you on the old arse.
Yeah, we just call it Arsies.
We called it Bum.
Bum. But yeah, it's honestly, it's a weird world we live in. It really is. Everyone is fighting to survive. Everyone is going through shit.
Yeah, like going back to stuff, I was just thinking about the supermarkets and like years ago. I was saying even years ago, like we used to spend about £100, and that used to do a solid week shopping, like
So
7 days,
easily.
like solid week. Now we do about 70, 80 quid, and that's about 3 days worth now, and
Oh,
that's like the basics. That's
yeah.
not like filling the cupboards out, all the fridge and that. Like you go and look at our cupboards and fridge, they're pretty much empty.
Yeah.
And like also we're all grown adults here as well, so like I can't even imagine like having like kids. Like say back in the day, like when my mum was bringing up
Yeah.
me and my brother, like they struggled enough then. So let alone like in this day and age, I'm just gonna go and turn the light on quick. It's getting rather dark.
I was gonna say. I was
I'm
just
just
about
gonna
to say.
disappear in a minute.
But yes. Oh, there we go. Oh, look at that. Let there be light.
Alright, when I'm here.
Look,
He went just talking to himself.
bald. I'm joking. But but yeah, and that's the thing. Like with shops nowadays. So, for example, we did a food shop 2 days ago. Yeah, 2 days ago. And we always go to Lidl's or Aldi's because it's cheaper. And there's nothing wrong with Lidl's or Aldi's. And we spent £120, and that was we filled up the fridge, filled up the freezer, and we managed to get a couple of tins here and there. But that would literally last us a week and a half.
Yeah.
If that. If we spent that much back then, that's easy 2 weeks worth of food.
Yeah.
Jesus.
We shop in Tesco's because my mum worked there for like 26 years, so she got like a discount card, and that's with a discount card. Our shopping, that's with 10% off, I think. So if we didn't actually have a discount card, it'd be over £100 basically.
Yeah.
But like we used to get like home delivery. Well, we get home delivery because none of us drive, and we used to get maybe like 5 or 6 crates. Now at most we get about 4. At most, it's usually about 3. And it's just ridiculous. Even like price of bread. I remember when bread used to be 99p.
Yeah. Like, mate, it's
And like
ridiculous.
pint of milk used to be well, Freddo. They used to be 5p.
Yeah.
What are they
Mate,
now? 35, 40?
Well, I bought one 2 days ago in the food shop. Guess how much one was in a corner shop? All right, so normally they tend to be quite cheap. Guess how much one was?
I'm gonna say about at least 35 now. 35p.
40.
No.
40 pence. 40 pence for one.
I remember going back in the shop in the day with £1. Right, buy myself a chocolate, can of Coke.
Yeah.
And have change.
Yeah, like
have change.
My favorite thing to do was if like I wouldn't even have a pound coin; it'd be a pound in pennies, and I used to go up to the counter and go, "I'll have 10 of those, 4 of those, 5 of those, blah 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 blah. Have a drink. That's me done for the day. I still got about 60 pence left."
Yeah, another thing that really grinds my gears is the meal deal.
Don't even get me started on
the meal deal. Since the dawn of time, the meal deal's been £3.
£3, yeah.
Since the dawn of time, even before the first fire was lit, the meal deal was £3. Tesco's. The audacity. I don't know how much it is now.
£3.70, I think.
£3.70.
That's with club card.
That's with a club card. So without a club card, it's probably about £4 something, right?
No, it's gonna be more than that.
Well,
I'm trying to think. If you like, because for me, when I used to have a meal deal, I used to maximize the savings.
Yeah.
So again, the extra large can of Red Bull, the triple sandwich, this and that. But honestly, I think for a meal deal now without a club card is about £5. Because the large Red Bull can is about £1.80 to £2. A triple sandwich is £2.70. They got crisps on top.
Yeah, like literally, I used to get the massive coffee, the cold coffee. I think it's called the Big Calf or something. It was called. It was massive.
Banging,
yeah, it was so good. Like, I used to get that, my sandwich and my crisp, and £3. Happy, and happy as Larry. But the day they turn it out to like, I think it was like £3.70 per club card. I haven't bought one since, and it's been 4 years. I haven't bought one.
I don't blame you.
I'm in protest. I will never buy one. I will never buy one. I'll tell you that now.
Yeah. Like, well, we went to Tesco's a couple of weeks ago, and Jess said, "Oh, should we get a meal deal?" I was like, "Yeah, I'll grab them." And I completely forgot they increased the price. So Jess has got the club card app on her phone. So I had my phone to pay for it, and then I used Jess's phone for the club card thing. So I got me, Jess, and Ollie a meal deal. and scanned them in. I was like, that's not right. So I rescanned the club card and I said, oh, you say blah, blah, blah. And you sold the same. So I asked the person, I was like, what's going on? And then two and two, came together. And I think, yeah, for three of us, it was about £9. No,
That'd be
it
more
was
than
more than that.
that.
Yeah, it was about £11.
No. £3, mate. £3. Again, since dawn
Yeah.
time, before the first fires were lit, £3. Sandwich.
Even Jesus
Chris.
paid bloody £3.
Probably did, you know what I mean? He probably had a
Yeah.
sandwich, crisp, and wine, but
Sandwich, crisp, and wine there. Simply ham.
ham and cheese. But
Yeah.
I can't with the shops. Like, honestly, it winds me up because there's no reason, because inflation's come down. So really, their prices should drop, but there's no laws or anything. They don't have to do it. If they want, they can keep going up and up and up.
Yeah.
And people will still buy it. Because
people are stupid.
But that's the thing, though. It's where you got you over a barrel, though, isn't it? Like, people still buy it, but you sort of got to at the same time.
But yeah, no. But the thing is, though, people, like, for example, perfect example, COVID. They panic bought toilet paper. They
and
panic
pasta
bought
and all that, and it's like
Mate, I didn't have a spaghetti bolognese for almost a year. That's one of my favorite dishes. I was fuming. And you see people running out with trolleys of bog rolls. I bet they felt daft after like the first year or two.
Because people obviously acted like you're never allowed to leave.
Yeah,
and they said you can go out for essentials. You just can't like go and party, and even though they was doing it at 10 Downstream, but
yeah.
like, that's basically what they said, and everyone acted like. I remember when when we had the old fuel shortage, or even a shortage, all the lorries just got stuck.
Company.
Yeah, they just got stuck at the port.
Yeah,
literally no joke. There's a petrol station, just I don't know, 20 minutes from here, and there's one road that goes to it, and the Tesco's right there. That one road was jam packed all the way back up to where I live, nearly 20 minutes, because people were panicking trying to fill their cars up. And 2 days later, it was like, oh yeah, the fuel's here now.
Yeah, honestly, people are, and it didn't help as well. Like from the media as well. The media,
that they blew out of proportion a lot. They scared a lot of people. They did scare a lot of people.
Like especially for the older generation.
Yeah.
Jeez, like my nan refused to leave the house for at least 2, maybe 3 years at most. She refused to leave.
Yeah, that's crazy. That is.
Yeah. It's a birthday today as well, so happy birthday, Nan.
Oh, my birthday.
Yeah, she turns. Guess how old she turns?
69. Nice.
Yeah. And she beat breast cancer as well. She had her chemo treatment and her surgeries, which is amazing. But yes, honestly, like it is stupid, and just like Shira's just said now in chat, fear sells news.
Oh yeah, 100%. 100%. Like, gotta be careful with my words here.
If metal goes missing in the next few weeks, it's suspicious.
Like, sometimes I'll say things too bluntly, and like, you know what I mean. But I'm trying to but it does sell, and it did a lot, and it made people panic like tremendously. Again, the toilet paper and the pastas, but like I can remember like going to the shop and that, and there's like people panicking, and like you see all the old people, like trying to get there, and like everyone's just like blocking them off, and I'm thinking, what about the actual old people that can't get into these crowds because obviously they're like say in their 80s or something like that. You knock them over, they might get seriously hurt. You know what I mean? But people didn't care about that. They didn't cared about themselves and having 4,000 toilet rolls.
Yeah,
we're gonna do build a bed with your toilet rolls and sleep on them for next year. Like, stop being so selfish. That's what wound me up the most. How selfish people can be, and it shows the true colours of actual society itself.
Yeah,
because just say like one day, I don't know, say we went to war, right? Like my granddad lived through the war and all this. Like, they didn't panic buy or do anything like that. I mean, here
they all chipped in.
Yeah, they all chipped in, looked after each other. You know what I mean? They all actually looked after each other, made sure everyone had food and all this during the war. And like he was in the Blitz. You know what I mean? Like, he said he remembers like getting underneath the tables and all that, and all the bombs were going off. But like, it winds me up especially
does.
the older people can't get to the stuff they need. And you
Yeah,
got all the young fellas walking out on the trolleys and that. What about the 80-year-old? They ain't
yeah,
got nothing now.
yeah. And that was a thing as well. A positive that did come out of COVID for me anyway was, like you said, there was loads of selfish aspects
Mm,
in society during that time. But for me, it did bring communities together as well. So, like for example, I I spoke to my neighbor now and again, but during the pandemic, we were talking every single day, making sure that we had enough milk. If I needed milk, I could ask. If
mm,
she needed milk, so on and so forth. And one day she had COVID and she had it really bad, and she was obviously complaining that she needs to go out to get food for her kids, but she just couldn't because she wasn't well enough. So me and Jess went up to Asda. We got what she asked for to a certain degree because some things were literally blocked off by the staff. They
mm.
put like
Yeah,
tape so you couldn't
yeah, I
access it
remember that. Yeah.
because it wasn't classed as
Mm,
essential.
mm,
Um, and yeah, and like now, me and the neighbors are really really close.
mm.
So there was a positive that came out of it, but the amount of selfish people, for me, outshined
Yeah,
the close community aspect of
yeah.
it because people are like some people are
Well,
effing horrible.
yeah, no, like in this day and age, like especially now, there is no sense of community. Like really, going
Oh
back, like
God, no,
the old
at all.
boy used to work with Colin. He used to say, like, because it's what he used to tell me as well. Back in the day, you used to go to a pub. You'd walk in that pub and you would know every single person in that pub.
Yeah,
There was no one trying to stab you or anything like that. All the young'uns looked after the old boys. When they had too much, he said, we used to carry them on, literally carry them on,
yeah.
and make sure they got in their houses and all that. This day and age now, they'll probably kick your head in and rob you.
Oh yeah,
And
100%.
so, and like Colin said, again, no one tried to stab you, rob you. If you had a problem with someone, you used to take it outside, have it out, like men, no
Yeah,
weapons, no nothing, shake hands at the end of it and go back and have a pint together. That's what he said. There was no
yeah,
real bad blood in there or anything like that. But now, in this day and
yeah.
age, especially now, someone would probably stab you.
Well, that's the thing. Is like my local pub is there's lots of oldies,
Mm,
and it's lovely. It's like a proper old tavern, and
yeah,
the drinks are banging, and everyone knows each other. And that's where Jess was brought up because in this tiny village, there's 10 houses and a pub. That's it.
mm,
And so everyone's got a house key to everyone's
yeah,
house. Blah blah blah. Um, and it's such a fantastic pub. But very recently, I'll probably say since 2023, a lot of youngsters have been going up there now, and especially on a Friday,
mm,
a lot of the locals have deterred from it now on a Friday. They only go down during the weekdays or Saturday and the Sunday. They will not go down on a
yeah,
Friday.
yeah,
And it's a shame because
yeah,
like with the regulars there, they've all got stories to tell.
yeah.
And honestly, like being able to talk to someone with such a
Well,
history
that's it. Like,
is for me it's
yeah, I
fascinating.
always love like, sort of talking to the old boys and that because they tell you crazy.
Yeah,
Like Colin's told me so many stories which I can't say on here, but he's told me some crazy stories. And like
yeah,
that's the thing. There's no sense of community. Like you go into a pub now, you barely know like a couple of people if you're meeting them. That is like it'd be really rare now to walk in a pub and know people you actually know. But then
yeah,
back then, and also points were 10p back then.
mm,
And
yeah.
like, he used to walk in over a pound and have 10 points. Now it's like a fiver for one, and it's like
Yeah, it's there was an uproar in my local pub. So a pint used to be, I think it was £2.90,
mm,
and the landlady had to increase it, obviously due to inflation with like the kegs and all that. And it went up to £3.10. Everyone was fuming
mm,
because it was 20 pence extra, but obviously you sort of get used to it after a while. But some people, like for example, my tattooist, most tattooists have increased their prices because of the export of the ink.
mm, yeah,
So, but they haven't confirmed that the ink price had increased at the time. They said it may increase, but everyone was already
doing it.
yeah.
Yeah,
And he said I refuse because I feel like I'm robbing you
yeah,
guys. Only like within the last 6 weeks has he had to increase it because it's now come out to say
yeah,
that yes, there's going to be an additional tax on tattooing.
mm,
Um, but it's just like some people think oh, because they might increase it, I might as well bump up my
Yeah,
price.
because obviously, if they increase their prices and it didn't happen, they just keep their prices
Yeah,
there. And
they're
then
not going to drop it back down.
no, because people get used to it then and say, "Oh, right, fair enough." If they're gonna do that,
Yeah,
but if it never happened, they go, "Oh, then I'm making extra money here." But fair play to you,
yeah.
Tatuars to sort of staying true and not
Oh, yeah,
actually just say robbing you, because it is technically robbing you.
it
End of
is.
the day, because if you're saying you do it for one reason and it don't happen, I mean,
Yeah,
you're taking the
it's deceiving.
yeah, I mean, you're just taking advantage of people and taking the money.
Yeah, like Shiro said as well. To be honest, I'm scared to go to any pub for the fear of being attacked.
Mm,
Like for me, the pub should be one of the safest places
yeah,
on par with your home.
yeah. I ain't been in a pub for a few years now, but like, again, when I was a little bit younger and that, it was all right, but then you can sort of see it gradually
Get worse.
get worse and worse, and it's like again, you might get like bottled or whatever.
Mm.
Like again, a lot of pubs not around anymore. Look, where I lived, in the space of 20 minutes, used to be 4 pubs,
Mm.
and there's only one now, and I'd never go in there because it's rough as
Yeah, bad as ass.
yeah. If you don't know people in there, you get knocked out the door pretty much. So
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. So, like the village that I grew up in practically all my life, there's 11 pubs in this tiny, tiny village.
mm,
I don't know why there's so many pubs, but there is. Um, Now, operational pubs, there's about four.
yeah,
One of them's turned into a restaurant. All the rest are closed down.
yeah. There's some of the pubs around here are actually like the Red Lion. Red Lion sort of turned itself into a hotel as well
Mm.
to sort of like keep up. Because what killed the pub industry is Weatherspoons, pretty much. Because Weatherspoons come in and undercut everyone.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, don't get me wrong, the food's all right. The pints are subpar all right, but the thing is though, the reason why they're able to charge so cheap is because they get, like, let's say if you wanted, I don't know, a pint of Foster's, they would get about 10, maybe 15 kegs of Foster's, but they would only be like a quarter full.
Mm,
So it's all the drabs of it,
mm.
and then they mix them all together,
Oh yeah.
and that's why it's so cheap.
Mm,
Like in Poole in Bournemouth, so we used to go to this one Weatherspoons there because they sell pints for 99 pence, but it tastes like shit. It really does.
and like when you get a point and it take when a bad point that is vile. Like if
It
there are
is.
any people that's never had a bad point, it's an experience. It's vile. Like
It is,
vile.
especially if they don't clean the
Yeah,
pipes.
it's
Oh,
vile.
it's
And like
minging.
your stomach the next day is in bits.
Oh yeah,
I won't go into too much detail, but it's in bits. You know,
yeah.
Bisto bum.
Oh yeah. That's like a rusty spoon. Um, but yeah, it's honestly, they're taking, like, in today's day and age, there's not much of a community anymore
No.
at all. Um, like when I was a kid, there was loads of community centers for kids to go to play games, socialize, have sweets, stuff like
Mm.
that. I don't know if there's one around anymore. I'll be honest with you.
Because
I
obviously
don't think
it
there
costs
is.
too much money now, doesn't it? Because all the money's gone out, and it's like it's not necessary. So obviously the councils
Yeah,
will go, yeah, let's get rid of it. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Just get rid of it.
But like in the town I live in, so the council borough, they got loads of money, and I mean loads. But they won't sort of upgrade the town centre. So we've got a major attraction. We've
Mm.
got Caerphilly Castle.
Yeah.
Now it holds the current record for the tower that leans the most in degrees. Um, but they won't improve the town centre for tourists.
Yeah.
It looks like a shithole. It
Mm.
really does. But they're happy to spend a couple of 100,000 on a really crappy looking fountain that's only going to get vandalized
Yeah.
because that's what people do. Um, and the amount of fly tipping as well that's in my area is ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
It's a bit like where I live and the city just
Mm.
over 20 minutes away. It is night and day the difference. Like the city
Yeah.
I live is quite a shithole, basically.
Mm.
It's not well looked after. There's no major attractions. There's literally nothing really here. City over, they got a massive mall. The cinema is incredible. One of the best cinemas I've ever seen. And their high streets are like immaculate. You can see they put
Yeah.
a lot of money into it. Where our ones, like in one of our high streets, on a high street, they built a little casino thing on a high street. It's the most random
But,
thing ever. You got like a
yeah,
few shops, then casino, and then shops. But that area's rough.
yeah.
It's full of drug addicts and all sorts. You don't want to go down there. But
Well, it's even
it's just they just don't put no money into my city. Then there's nothing to do around here. There's literally nothing.
no. There's nothing to do around mine,
Mm,
and we got about 15 barbers in one. Well, in one
yeah,
street alone, there's 8. Why do you need so many barbers?
I don't need none.
Like, I go to a barber's, and don't get me wrong, I do love a pamper from a barber. It is so nice, but I it's just ridiculous how many bloody barbers are in
Yeah,
this one street. We got Weatherspoons, and then there's a Chinese takeaway, there's a Greg's and a Subway, and then all the rest are barbers.
yeah.
That's it, just barbers.
Down my like local high street, you used to be able to have like Mr. Whippy there back in the day.
Yeah,
You had all sorts. Now you go down there, it's literally barber calf, barber calf, barber calf, bank, barber calf, barber calf, barber calf, hair salon, nail salon. That's all it is, literally.
yeah,
And one clothes shop, where it used to be like clothes shops and all that. We do have
yeah.
one of the oldest stores though in our cities. The name's Christopher's, it's a shoe shop. It's been
Oh, right,
there
yeah.
for about 110 years now. It's still there.
Fair play.
Yeah, still
It's
going.
still operational as
Yeah,
well.
still going. When I was last down there, it was still going, but it's been there for like 110 years, I think, Christopher's.
Fair play, and that sounds like sorry, it sounds like a family-owned sort of store.
Yeah, I think it is, because it's where you got your shoes, like, work boots, everything. They do work boots, shoes, everything. But it's been there for about at least 100 years, I think. So that's
Yeah,
it. That's like the oldest thing, and it's outlasted a lot.
yeah. Like why you said as well, everything near him is either closed or closing down.
Yeah, yeah. There's a
That's
lot.
the same.
Yeah, there's a lot of shit closing down. Because what's killed a lot of shops is online shopping. Amazon.
Oh yeah,
Amazon's killed like the high streets. So like, in 10 years, there would be no such thing as like high streets at all. Like everything
no.
would be online, even like Tesco's and all that. Eventually, they will get rid of all their stores and just have it online.
Well, that's the thing. Like, it's more convenient for the older generation to go into a store because that's what they used to.
Yeah, see, I mean,
And
that's
it's
how
like,
they sort of like
it's
get
like
their
banking.
socialising as well. Because I mean, like,
Yeah,
because a lot of them still don't use phones and that. Like my mum's 63 now, never had a
mm,
phone and won't get one. She refused
yeah.
to get one.
Well, and that's the thing. Like with banking. So I used to work for banking for many many years, and when they started introducing about like online banking and
Mm,
stuff like that, so everything that you could do in a normal bank, you can now do
yeah,
from your home. Um, they've closed down so many branches,
yeah.
so
Yeah, my,
so
my
many
local
branches.
one, which is only about 30 minutes away from me, got closed down. Now, if I want to go to the bank, it's like an hour away now. It's like,
Yeah,
oh, it's on a bus. I hate buses.
yeah. I don't mind buses. It has its moments, but for me, it's the price. The price is extortionate, mate.
That's another thing we can talk about as well. Is the prices of buses.
Mate, and trains, like transport in general, is ridiculous.
Honestly, like it was considered like taxis were the expensive choice
Oh yeah,
out of the three. Now it's like you might as well get a taxi now.
yeah,
Because it used to work in the zone, like on the actual stop, so you just go on the distance. So, if I went from here to like up the road, it'd be like 25p. Or if I went here to like 20 minutes away, it only be so max £1.
yeah.
No matter where you go, like I can go from here up the road for like 2 minutes. It'll cost me £3,
Yeah, I,
three
I was
quid.
surprised by that because when I caught the bus more recently,
Mm,
so I used to, cause you used to be able to get returns.
yeah,
You can get a return,
yeah,
or a day pass, or a week pass. So when I asked, oh, can I have a return from here to the train station, blah blah blah, they said it was like a fiver, and I was like,
mm,
no, it should be like £2.90, 3 quid. No, no, no,
yeah,
you don't get singles or returns now. It's just dailies. I'm like, mate, like, why?
yeah. Like when I used to go to school, right? For me to my school, it was 50p,
Mm,
like 50p, and I think for a turn it was like 75p. Now it's like the school's not there anymore, but if you want to get a return, it costs you like a fiver, and it's just like, it's down the road. Literally, you can walk
it's
it in
ridiculous.
30 minutes. I hate the buses. That's why I refuse. It's ridiculous. The
Yeah,
jump of like, years ago it used to be like 25p. Now it's £3 for a single.
yeah, and that's a lot,
Yeah,
and it
yeah,
adds up.
in three
And it's
quid.
like, Yeah, and it's like Cardiff as well. If I caught a train to Cardiff for a return, so the cheapest I can remember it being was about £5.60, and that was when I was like partially in college.
Mm.
Um, I caught a train into Cardiff about 4 weeks ago, and it almost cost me a tenner for a return. A ten, it was like £9.40,
I must have got a taxi.
9.60.
I must have got a taxi.
Mate, it was
Right.
and that was just for a train fare,
Yeah.
and honestly, I almost threw up.
Yeah, because the trains used to be the cheap option. Trains and buses were the cheap
Yeah,
option, and taxis were expensive. Especially you got the meter ones that turn up because they look
yeah,
just to sit outside and put the meter on, not tell you know, like beep, and like
yeah.
you get in there. Like, they did that once. We was about to go somewhere. You sat outside for a
Mm.
couple of minutes. As we got in, the fare was only £5 because he didn't beep or anything.
Fucking-
Because back then they didn't tell you on your phone.
yeah,
Like, because now they tell you on the phone if they're nearby and all this. Obviously, back
yeah,
then we really have anything like that. So you had to like obviously keep an eye out, and obviously we sort of like didn't keep an eye out, and he sat there, did beep nothing, because usually you just
yeah,
beep, and yeah, time we got in there, it was like father before we even went off, and I was like, great, fantastic.
yeah. But like, and that's the thing, like, because everything is so expensive. It feels like when you're in a taxi, instead of saying, "Oh, can you take me to the town centre?" you would go, you would say, "Oh, can you take me to £5, please?"
Yeah, basically, yeah, it's like
You could be in the middle of like
yeah,
the M25
oh,
and
it's
say,
just like
"Yeah,
yeah, go
well,
on,
I'll
mate,
do."
get off. That happened to my mum once actually.
Yeah, well,
Not on the M25,
I
but
was gonna say,
she was going to work once, right, and she always paid the same money. She knew literally every taxi driver because she took a taxi to Tesco's for like 10 years or whatever. And at that point,
yeah,
there's one taxi driver she didn't know. Wait, she obviously gave me the money already, and he stopped about I don't know 4 minutes away and said,
hmm,
"You got to get out now." I said, "Why?" So that's how far you may get you. She says, "No, I pay this fare every single day. It gets me to where I go." You went, "No, you got to get out." And he refused to drive for the extra 4 minutes. So you had to get out and walk.
I would have slapped him.
She wanted to, but obviously
Yeah,
there's cameras in taxis and all this shit now. But like
yeah,
it, but it's like I mean, you just don't do that, do you? Like every day.
yeah. No, it's honestly, it's getting ridiculous, and the worst thing is, every time if I have to get a taxi, I'm constantly staring at the meter.
No, you got to watch them.
Yeah,
You got to watch them.
yeah.
Especially in they take the highway, costs more money.
Oh God, yeah.
It costs way
And
more money because they're using more fuel, so they put more money on top. Mhm.
the thing as well in Wales, so if you catch a taxi, like especially in South Wales when you live in the countryside, some taxis won't take you through lanes,
Mm.
and it's a load of malarkey. It really is. So I can remember once, I needed to. So it was when I was living with my with Jess's parents, and they literally live right on top of a mountain. So the only way to get there is through country lanes.
Yeah,
And I said to this guy, I said, "Oh, can you just drop me off to the school that's nearby? I'll walk the rest." And he said, "Mate, you're my last fare. I'll just take you where you need to go." And I thought, why can't every taxi driver just do that? Like, you're going to earn yourself an extra couple of
yeah.
quid. Just
But
do it.
I say there's a taxi driver. Everyone knew around here. His name's Tom. He used to own a Fed shop, and obviously he couldn't keep up the prices, so he shut the shop down. Didn't
Hmm.
stop him selling though. He used to sell spuds out the back of his taxi and that. Like they shut.
Yeah.
Yeah, he used to go around. He used to stop and go, "Hold on, one minute, I've got to drop these spuds off." And he'd go off and drop his spuds off. He said, "I won't charge you obviously for stopping."
Yeah.
And he'd go and like, drop his spuds off, and all the feds were around that. So he'd just do his taxi for it and sell spuds on the sides and that.
Yeah.
Don't see that anymore.
That's one thing I miss as well. Is like markets,
Yeah, that's
like
completely gone around here. They're literally
fruit
dead.
and veg markets.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dead.
Like, we used to have, there used to be a massive one in Merthyr Tydfil.
Mm.
So every weekend you go down, they would sell
Everything.
anything
Yeah.
and everything: clothes, fruit and veg, toys,
Yeah.
books, just anything you could imagine. BB guns.
Yeah. It's your spud guns.
Now,
Remember them?
oh, mate, they were awesome.
They hurt. They did.
Literally,
Yeah, they
oh
hurt.
yeah, but you would just walk around with a spud
Oh,
and this little red thing.
yeah. Shoot your mates with a spud gun. I bet a lot of people don't know what spud guns are.
No, yeah, that's the thing. Like
Yeah, go on.
loads of the younger generation will not know
Not know
what a
what a
spud
spud
gun
gun
is.
is. No, those class
Oh,
walk around with a potato.
Yeah. Where have you got that for me?
This, yeah, it's class.
Like, oh, do you remember cap guns as well?
Yeah, cat guns. Yeah.
Oh, they were cool.
Mm.
But then, like, you shoot 6 shots and then that's it. Then you
Yeah.
have to get yourself another batch.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Oh. Yeah, like it was so it was a hell of a lot more lenient back in the day
Oh yeah.
with stuff, and stuff was just better. People were nicer.
Yep.
Kids were more
But
well mannered.
well, because obviously back in those days as well, like you got disciplined.
Oh God, yeah.
You got to clip round the old hero every now and again. Obviously now these days you can't do that.
No, it's against law.
Like don't get me wrong. Like years ago, so this is years ago, like 40 years ago. Like my mum, she was playing outside someone's house, and she's done something. Matey walked out of her, clipped her, like gave her one. So she run back to me nan. Right, told me nan. So me nan went, alright then. She hit her for crying, for a start, because
Yeah.
crying. And then she walked out the door, walked down the road, not Matey's door. As he opened it, she just bang, just hit him. And said, you do not touch my kids ever again. Because my nan was quite hard. Like, she did slap, she'd punch. Like, she'd fight full men. She'd just fight them, like, properly. And yeah, that's what they used to do back in the day. Like, if you played up, someone would come out their house and give you, like, clip you, like, give you one.
Oh yeah.
Obviously, if you do that this day, you're going to prison, ain't you? Like, don't get me wrong. Like, obviously, hitting kids is not great, but for like discipline for reasons, it wasn't hard. I mean, it was just like a little clip. You know what I mean? It wasn't like
just a little...
it was like my mum wound up, took a running uppercut at me.
She was there, like
stay still, and this is like an uppercut at me. No, it's just like you know what I mean, a little clip. It did me no harm. You know what I mean? It sort of taught you like if you do something wrong, you know what I mean. There's consequences to it. Like, obviously, you ain't gonna go there and beat your kid and all this sort of shit. It's only like a little clip. It's a little bit. Well, they used to flick your ear like on the line, and like flick it. That did.
I can remember one. So my BAMP, as you English people say, grandfather, grandpa, whatever. He's proper Scottish, and I played up once, and I was having a hissy fit when I was about 5 or 6. He pelted me on the ass with a slipper.
Oh, yeah.
And it wasn't on the soft side; it was on the actual. So, oh mate, I had such a print on my ass for like a couple of days. I never played up again.
No,
never ever.
No. That's what I mean. Like, again, just the kids these days do lack that discipline. I'm not saying obviously go and like obviously fully like beat your kids up. I mean, but that little bit of discipline. And like when people get sent to their rooms these days and ages, they got all the computers and that. So it's not really a punishment, is it?
No.
If you send someone to your kid in your room.
Have you seen Kix's comment?
No, I haven't. No.
He goes, Metal's mum was in the WWE.
Literally, like
she's doing swanton bombs.
I've done it. Well, I've drop kicked my brother once off the sofa.
Yeah,
little sort of side store. I remember him walking in. I was quite into wrestling at that time. I was on the sofa arm, and as he walked in, I literally just drop kicked him in the back. And I was like about 6 or 7 then.
Oh, and that was the thing, because like when you see the memes online, like when you're playing with your cousin or your brother or whatnot, and you play a little bit rough and you accidentally like really hurt them, and they're like, "Shut up! Don't say anything to mom. Shut up!" Like, it's just
on the younger brother, so it was always it was the other way around.
Like I used to be that brother that if I was playing on like a PlayStation or something, and my youngest brother wanted to play,
you didn't plug the controller in. Yeah.
Well, I would pretend to plug it in.
Yeah, my brother done that to me. Oh no,
yeah. It worked.
Yeah.
But honestly, like, in those days, you did make some really good memories. But times were simpler, times were easier to a certain degree. But like now, there's a lot of like freedom of speech for me. That's almost out the window in today's day and age.
Yeah,
you gotta be careful what you say.
Yeah, like, even on this, you gotta be sort of careful.
Yeah,
I'm usually quite a blunt person, and obviously for this, I'm toning it down. Don't get me wrong, I'd say nothing horrendous, but I'll say things in a way people might like get offended by.
Yeah,
because that's how brought up. You just be blunt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, just be blunt. Tell it as it is.
Yeah. And that's the thing. You can't say how it is because people will get offended, and like the cancel culture at the moment, it's ridiculous. It
Oh,
really is.
yeah, I mean, it depends. If you get big enough, you just can't be cancelled. As a certain, we're not going to say his name, but we all know who it
Yeah.
is. A certain individual who've done something horrendously bad, but
Yeah.
you can just carry on streaming like nothing's ever happened, and 20,000
Yeah.
people still watches said individual. Again, I won't say his name, but
I can't make a funny meme of Kicks.
no. That's the thing in all it. It's like you can't make a little funny meme, but then that said person can do what he did, and it's like, oh yeah, come back, don't worry about it, it's fine.
Yeah.
You bring in 20,000+ viewers, we earn a lot of money off you, so come back. So it gets to a point where you get to a certain size, and I'm pretty much you're uncancelable unless you like do something. Well, it is horrific what he done, so like you can pretty much do anything you want.
Yeah, Kicks goes, you don't want to disrespect him, do you, Mel?
No,
Yeah, that's true.
yeah.
POV of Harry, yeah. But yeah, it's honestly like I don't get how people, because a lot of people do take things extremely seriously,
Yeah.
extremely seriously. But they were brought up in the same era as South Park.
Yeah.
And they watch South Park
Yeah.
and Family Guy and stuff
Yeah.
like that. I just don't get it.
And like South Park is, if you ever watch South Park, you know what it's like, and it's one out the box. It's ridiculous. But if South Park got made today,
oh, if it just came out today, it wouldn't last 10 minutes.
It'd be gone. And like
it's like Little Britain.
Yeah, well, they're on about making a new season of that, aren't they? And
I ain't gonna watch it because I know it's not gonna be as...
No, because even like Matt Lucas and Dave Williams said they've had a lot of their old content they've had to actually change, and a lot of the characters they've had to change because obviously you can't do that in this day and age.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it was quite funny, Little Britain, but
in
this day and age you can't really do anything.
Yeah, no, yeah, I want that one.
Bitty.
Bitty. Oh, they call me Babbles, darling. Everybody does.
And you've had Matt Lucas done a Welsh one, didn't he? On there.
Yeah, David.
That was it. Yeah.
I'm the only gay in the village.
Yeah.
But that was funny though, because like the writing was fantastic. The character was amazing, and it was all tongue in cheek.
Yeah.
That's all it was. It was tongue in cheek, and with a dabble of British humor, because
Mm.
British humor is very dark compared to like American humor, for example. But it's just the way we are. But yeah, another series that if it got made today, it would get cancelled within 2 seconds. Would have been Faulty Towers.
Yeah.
Or even Monty Python, that would get cancelled straight away.
Yeah, a lot of them would. Even though they're still considered classics, and like there's only 12 episodes of Faulty Towers, I believe. I think it's only 12. I watched that years ago, Faulty Towers. I mean, he did do some.
Oh yeah, there's some very questionable things,
but majority was quite funny. Like John Cleese was quite funny individual.
He was. He was a funny individual.
I mean, he's still alive, but he don't do.
He doesn't
do it anymore because he's about like in his 80s now, I think.
Yeah, he's got dementia or something as well.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's either dementia or Alzheimer's. Bless him. But yeah, it's a weird world we live in. I feel like, especially with streaming as well, you always feel like you're always stepping on eggshells, and you do really have to think what you say. Like, don't get me wrong, everyone makes mistakes, this and that, blah blah blah, and I say some really, I wouldn't say really questionable things. I say some stupid stuff, but you do get some people that just outright just say it.
I mean, because there is that fine line, isn't there? There is that fine line, and some people just go well over that fine line. Again, you do have to be careful of what you say and just sort of stay on this side of the line. And don't get me wrong, it's all good having a little joke here and there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But then if you go way too far with said jokes or whatever, and then it's just like, no.
Yeah, you sort of have to rein it back. Yeah. That's how you do it. Sorry, so this vape has got 2 flavors, right? It's got one on each side, and I was wondering, like, how do I actually change it? You lift up the top, and it's like a little transformer, and it twists.
When you people see it live.
Yeah,
Seen
we're, I'm
figure
not.
out
We're
life.
not. We're not sponsored by Hayati Pro
Not yet,
Ultra.
anyway. I
Not
don't
yet.
vape, but I'll pretend.
You'll vape.
I'll pretend.
You're there with water vape and
Yeah.
going,
I just won't turn it on or anything. I just, yeah, tasty.
fruit salad.
Money. Nice.
Oh, but yeah, it's honestly, it's a weird world we live in, and the communities now it's getting more and more toxic in real life, and especially in bloody gaming as well.
Yeah,
That's a completely different topic,
yeah,
which I think we've covered previously.
we have.
I can't remember what episode though.
Oh, I
That's
think it's
the
like 11. No, it wouldn't.
no,
8,
it's got to be earlier
9,
than that.
9, I think.
Let me just. I'm just having a quick gander.
Well, another thing was actually gone ridiculous now. I think about talk about gaming. The price of video games.
Oh, it's honest. Don't get me started. It's ridiculous. Like, oh, the Switch.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
Have you seen
yeah.
70, 80 quid for a Switch game?
No, no. I've never owned a Switch. I don't know. I know that new From Software game's coming out on the Switch. Dust Bloods, I think it's called. Basically,
Right.
it's like blood. It's there like telling Sony to go F themselves with Bloodborne, and they've sort of made Bloodborne, but not Bloodborne. But
Yeah,
but Expedition 33, right?
yeah.
No joke, I've been playing it recently, and I kid you not, one of the best games probably ever made at this point. And I'm only 25 hours in. And look, the game's phenomenal. It's not done by a AAA type studio. It was from people who used to work for Ubisoft.
Yeah.
They left, made their own studio, and they've shown what can happen once you leave these greedy, passionate studio corporates. And they've literally, in the first game, have made a complete masterpiece. And it's not just me saying that; it's literally millions of people saying this game is a masterpiece. Everything, art direction, the characters, voice acting, combat. 10 out of 10. Like, phenomenal.
Yeah.
Guess how much I paid for it?
That's the one thing I did check on Steam, but I didn't check the price. Well, I can only assume it's going to be less than 80 quid, so I would say 50.
No.
How much?
It come out on release on sale for £37, right? And I bought off CD Keys for £26, and I feel like buying off CD Keys, I've robbed them. Like, the game is too fucking good for £26. Like, this game, no joke, I'd pay 60 quid for. But no, from release it come out £37, I believe. And I think full price is like 41, 42.
Yeah, because the thing that gripes me is when you pay a game that's like 70, 80 quid and it's half done, it's half baked.
It's just like,
and we end up being the playtesters.
Yeah, it's ass. Like, again, like Assassin's Creed Shadows that recently come out.
That's died already.
I mean, it was just Valhalla, but in Japan.
Yeah.
And people paid 60 quid for that, and it's like. Then you got like Expedition 33 come out. The story's unique, it's original. Like, I've not seen a story like it in any game. I've been gaming for nearly 25 years now.
Yeah.
And like, it's incredible. Like, I highly recommend it. The combat mode be for everyone. It's turn based. Like old Final Fantasy with like edges of like Dark Souls. Like, it's got a parry and like dodge system. But if you don't play on expert like I am, you don't need to worry about the parrying. But if you play on expert, you have to. You've got to master the parrying, because there's some bosses that if you don't parry them, you just die.
Yeah.
But honestly, for like £37, this game's a steal.
Yeah.
And you go and honestly, then you go and pay for games like 60, 70 quid. I say half done, low effort, no passion, and it's like, oh great. I wonder why the companies Ubisoft are failing and EA are just completely failing, because they just want that. They had their Prime Day. Obviously, when Assassin's Creed first come out, the FIFAs and all this, obviously for EA. But now where they've got up here, they think we're untouchable. But now, that mountain's rocking. It's rocking back and forward, and it's going to collapse quicker than they think.
Well, that's the thing. Like, in today's day and age, to be like an indie developer, you almost guaranteed to be loved providing you put in the work and the
Yeah.
effort into it.
It was like the Expedition 33. I think 30 people made that game. Only 30 people, and like the soundtrack is one of the best soundtracks I've ever heard.
Yeah.
And again, this winds me up. It does. Like, you pay 70 quid for and like in deluxe editions these days, like £100, and you get like a horse armor or something. It's like,
Yeah.
it's like, you want £100 for that, or you get like a season pass with it, and you barely get nothing.
Yeah. Well, it's like Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. So when that came out, it was a massive hit. Really, really successful. They brought out their first DLC recently, and it was horse armor. And you had a look at the reviews on it; it was all mixed.
Yeah.
But over like a 24-hour period, it was mostly negative. Like, I don't like wait. Like back in the day, you would have games that would come as complete, and then they would add little things in the future for free.
Yeah,
it was amazing. Like I genuinely don't mind paying for DLCs. One, if it's worth it, and two, it's good.
Yeah, like it's actually worth the effort. It's like Elden Ring. The Shadow of the Erdtree come out. That DLC was like 30 quid, but it was like the biggest DLC they've ever done. Like it was massive, and I'd say it was definitely worth 30 quid. Because you got loads of extra bosses, extra areas, extra weapons, armors, spells, you got everything. There was so much into it. And like 30 quid for a DLC, that's like quite a lot.
Yeah.
But what you actually got in that content, it was like some people consider it the greatest DLC ever.
Yeah, and it's like practically a new game.
Yeah, literally, it was literally a new game. You probably can get if I had to guess, probably if you wanted to, 100 hours out of that DLC if you really wanted to fully explore everything and fight the bosses, and like especially the last bosses. He was before they nerfed him, he was hard, like really hard, like near impossible hard.
Yeah, but I just don't get it. And games now, like especially Call of Duty, it's the way I remember Call of Duty. It was dirty, it was grime, it was
bugs.
It was made for gamers.
Yeah, bugs for 6 months. So the care package glitch in Modern Warfare 2.
But now, like for example, when I think of Call of Duty, I automatically think of World of War and Modern Warfare 2 straight away. When you look at it now, they've just released Seth Rogen as a character, a playable character. And what's the two mates? They always look high as a kite. Bob and I can't remember what they're called. But yeah, they've just added
Bob
them.
and Jay. Is it Jay? Jay and Silent Bob.
Yeah, they've added them as playable characters in Call of Duty. They've added Nicki Minaj. Like,
why?
No offense, who wants to play Nicki Minaj in a Call of Duty game?
Some people do, apparently.
Honestly, it's getting stupid.
I mean,
it really is,
because obviously they've run dry in it, so they're just trying to throw anything they can. Because to honestly, I thought Call of Duty had been dead by now. Like generally, but it's still surviving, it's still going. We're gonna have Black Ops 100 soon, and Modern Warfare like 200 or something, and it's like Captain Price will still be in it.
Yeah, he'll still be in it.
But it's just,
what kind of name is soap, mate?
But it's like, I've put on generally. I thought Call of Duty would be dead by now, especially with the battle royales come out, like Fortnite and like Apex and that. But then again, they made their own.
Yeah, they did.
Which a lot of people still play, and it's just like,
Yeah, but just everything is just getting so expensive.
Yeah,
like, literally everything.
Again, like deluxe edition for over £100. I remember back in the day when games just cost like 20 quid. Then they went up to like 40, and like 40 was like. And there's the time where a game always used to come out on a Tuesday and Friday.
Yes.
There's always a game coming out on Tuesday or Friday all the way through the year. Back then, but now it's obviously some game take years to come out, but some of them are worth it, some are not. Like GTA 6 actually today got delayed.
It did, to 2026. Yeah,
because everyone thought it was going to come out this year, and it's like, no.
Like with the Rockstar games, I think it's a given that when they say it's going to be released at this date,
just add a year onto it.
Yeah, but honestly, I don't mind game developers delaying their games if the game is going to be
supreme.
Yeah. If it's not ready, don't release it.
Well, it's like the problem with Cyberpunk, isn't it? That's
Yeah,
I mean, prime example come out completely. To be fair, the developers didn't want to release it.
yeah,
It was their investors saying, "Get out, get out, get out. We want the money." Then yeah, they suffered for it, but now they've actually took the time, patched in all the shit. Now it's a playable game, and apparently it's really good. Cyberpunk.
yeah. Apparently, it's really, really good. Yeah,
Mm.
like I pre-ordered the game and I completed it with all its bugs. Um, and don't get me wrong, I still enjoyed it. I thought the story was fantastic, but it was barely playable.
Yeah.
And I'm just sick and tired of games coming out uncooked. Like Fallout 76, when that got announced, I was really excited, but then I found out it was online.
Yeah,
I
it was
thought,
terrible.
yeah,
It's
so
awful.
I purposely didn't pre-order it. I just wanted to wait for it to come out, see what the reviews are like. If they're good, then yeah, I'll buy it. Thank God I didn't.
No, I did.
Like,
And
but do you remember the story as well? With one of the pre-orders, you can get the like T80 helmet.
yeah.
There was lead paint in it. They had to recall them because it was poisonous. And like with the nylon bag as well, you were supposed to get like a really nice bag, but it came in nylon, so it was like a paper bag.
No one. Yeah.
And they were like, "That's not what is advertised."
Mm,
And yeah, Bethesda lost loads of money on that. But apparently, Fallout 76 is a pretty solid game now.
yeah. But then again, it's like if you play it from the beginning, like I did, like I don't want to go back to it. I don't like
No,
even now. If say it's a good game, but I've been put off it.
yeah,
Like I don't want to go back and play it. Simple as. So it's
yeah.
better just to take that extra year or two and actually produce, come out with actually something worth playing.
Hmm. Well, that's the thing now. They sort of screwed themselves over with Fallout 76 because when the next, obviously, they've just released Oblivion remaster, which is supposed to be absolutely phenomenal. And
It,
fair play to them.
I mean, it's the same game, just it's been graphically. Oh, they didn't really change
Enhanced.
much. They just changed the graphics and I think
Yeah,
the level up system or something.
yeah. But for me, with the downfall of 76 and the downfall of Bethesda, the next proper original release is gonna be micro managed because when it gets released, it's gonna be nitpicked
Well, they
to the
released that
high heaven.
Starfield, didn't they? They brung out that
Oh,
Starfield.
it was a pile of shit.
Yeah, that's what everyone said. Everyone said it's terrible.
I played it and I love Bethesda. It's one of my favorite game companies. But when I played Starfield, it was rubbish,
Mm.
absolutely rubbish.
Yeah, a
I
lot of
hated it.
people. Like, that's what put me off it because obviously, again, massive
Yeah,
Bethesda fan, Fallout fan. I thought, yeah, but then when I see the reviews and everyone was saying it, because usually I don't go off reviews,
yeah.
but when I see the amount of actual people saying, "Oh, this game's terrible," and it's still 60 quid, and I was like, "Nah, I'm all good."
No, it was Fallout in space done wrong.
Mm.
It was so bad. And it was boring as well. It was so boring. But that's my opinion anyway. I know some people did enjoy it, but not for me. Yeah, have you got anything else to add?
Yeah.
Go on.
Well, I can't believe we didn't talk about this.
Don't say DVD.
No, the
Oh.
99.
This episode is going to conclude for another hour.
Mm.
So, yes, the 99 ice cream.
Yeah, obviously for people that don't know what a 99 is, when you used to go to the old ice cream van, it used to be an ice cream called 99 because it was 99p.
99 pence.
It was just a cone with like normal ice cream and a flake. It used to be a
Flake.
whole flake about this big. It used to go all the way down to the
Mhm.
bottom nearly. No, so the whole thing was massive. It was 99p.
Yeah.
It ain't
Well,
anymore.
no. Well, it's funny, right? So, when we play cricket, there's always an ice cream truck there. And we after a break, you always have to have an ice cream. So you go there, and I say, "Can I have a 99?" And it's literally labeled 99.
99, yep.
They make it for you. £2.80, please. I'm like, nah, it's 99,
No,
mate.
it's 99. That's why it's called a 99 because it was 99p, not £2.80. And the flake now is about that big.
Yeah, it's tiny.
It's tiny. Where
And
you used to get like a whole one. You used to see matey open the packet up.
yeah,
And obviously back in the day, everything used to be bigger. I'm saying this now. Everything used to be bigger.
oh, yeah,
Like,
Easter eggs, everything.
everything chocolate bars, they actually used to be massive. And now they're like this. I used to
Yeah.
see him. They said you used to go down to the bottom. So as you went down the ice cream, and he said some choice words then, so I've changed them. As you went down to the bottom ice cream, you had flake all the way down.
Yeah.
And you can add like sauces to it now, like strawberry sauce or like chocolate sauce. And no extra charge back in the day either.
No.
But now, just for the base, it's £2.80, and the flake's about
Yeah.
that big.
Well, I was pleasantly surprised. So there's an ice cream van that comes near us, but they never come in the summertime. They only come during the winter or maybe autumn, because
Yeah.
obviously in the summer they go to like beaches and
Mm.
stuff. They have a thing called a tray. So you
Mm.
literally get like a styrofoam tray with like different bits of ice cream, this and that. Guess how much? All right. So this is what they do. So let's say if you had a Kinder Bueno tray, you get the tray. You know, like a Mr. Whippy when they do
Mm.
the spiral. They do 6 of those, so you got 6 on the thing, and they get a Kinder Bueno, a full one, but they snap each section and they plonk it on the ice cream and they give you a little bit of sauce and some whatever. Guess how much for one?
I'm going to say 20 quid.
Half it.
Tenner.
A tenner.
Nice.
Yeah. A Magnum ice lolly, £3. Like,
and they're tiny now, because I had one the other day actually,
yeah.
and they're like that. Tiny.
It's like someone stuck them
They
in the
used to be more
bloody
like
Tupperware.
forearm nearly. They used to be
Yeah.
massive. Like no joke, they used to be massive. And like
Yeah.
now, they're gone in like 2 bites.
See, now you've got me on the topic now. Quality streets and celebrations. The box has gone smaller.
Yep.
Like, it's probably good because I'm a big lad, all right? But still, I like my quality streets.
Well,
And I
that's the
like my
thing though. They don't
celebration.
think
I'm
we'll
well deserved.
notice. They say they think we won't notice.
Oh, we will.
Listen, I've done a lot of
We have.
eating. I've done a lot of eating in my time. Of course I'd notice.
But yeah, I don't get like Easter eggs as well.
Oh, don't with them. They're so expensive.
So and that's the thing. So they've gotten smaller, but they've cost almost double.
Double, yeah. Even like the small eggs now, like not the small ones, but say the medium ones, like a tenner.
Mate, so Jess bought me an Easter egg. I don't do Easter at all. Like I'll get Ollie something, but I don't really do it. But yeah, she bought me an Easter egg, and it cost her £8, and it was a Yorkie one.
All right.
Like the less popular chocolate.
Mm.
You get the small egg, and it's about this big, and then you get your normal Yorkie bar, which is about this big. £8.
Yep. I had a Reese's one. Right. Come with like 4 little Reese's egg, and the actual egg itself, it was tiny. It was like that big.
Yeah.
And it was a tenner.
Yeah. You're paying for the brand.
Yeah, I think my mum and all spent like 80 quid on Easter eggs. Like no joke. Just said, don't do it. I said to you, you might as well got that 80 quid, gone down the shop and just bought chocolate for about 4 months. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Jesus.
But yeah, it's like, but some of them like 15 quid, 20 quid, and it's like
it's ridiculous. And like some of the stuff they've taken off the shelves, like I miss I can never remember what they're called, but they were like, like Worthingtons.
Yeah.
The little thing. Well, they used to have like the strawberry and cream one.
Yeah, I remember those ones, yeah.
Oh, they were banging.
Yeah, was it Werther's Originals?
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, like the strawberry and cream. Oh, I remember them. They were really nice. Yeah,
they were banging, absolutely banging. And like some things, like have been removed in different places. So, like for example, you haven't seen a Kinder Hippo in God knows how long. I haven't down in my shop.
Yeah, literally. I think the last time I see one of those hippos, it must be about nearly 10 years now or so, maybe longer.
Guess how much for one is?
Oh my days! £1.
Bearing in mind, right, a Freddo is about 40 pence now. All right. So for a hippo, bearing in mind they're about this big. You got the head, which is normally the biggest part, and then you got the body, right? So guess how much for one?
I'm gonna say about 75.
It's less than 80 pence.
Let's see, things like this used to be like 10p and like 20p and all this. Not like 80p, please. Obviously, it don't sound a lot, but obviously in this day and age, like especially young generation, they don't know what it was like back then. For them, this is normal. For us, when we was growing up, like you didn't see things for 80p for a chocolate bar. Obviously, it's different times back then, but like it's just the jump in price is massive. Like Freddo from 5p to 40 for one, and they're
Mhm.
ain't about this big.
Yeah,
They're tiny.
like don't get me wrong, they are nice, but it's not worth 40 bloody pence.
No, it really ain't.
It's and another thing that baffles me is a bottle of water is more expensive than like a can of Coke or something like
Yeah,
that,
yeah, because
and
technically
it's water's better for you.
I'll say it properly, with water.
What a
I'll say
bottle of
water.
water?
I'll say water, don't I? So I'll say it properly. Water.
Water, yeah,
You're not paying for the water, are you? You're paying for the plastic bottle. That's the thing, because
yeah.
you can't make water.
Hmm.
Like, well, technically you could buy like steam and all this sort of stuff, but
Yeah.
it's still like more. But like, you're only paying for the bottle at the end of the day as well. That's what makes it worse. You're paying for the plastic
Mm.
bottle, not the actual water inside it.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. So in Wales, they heavily emphasize on buying. It's what you call Brecon water.
Mm.
So a lot of the water that comes from the Brecon beacons, it gets shipped off to places like London
Mm.
because a lot of the water in London is really shit.
Yeah.
And especially when you boil a kettle, you get all the lime
Yeah.
scale. We don't get any lime scale here. And so I was surprised when I lived in England for like a year or two. The amount of crap that
Yeah.
was in my kettle, I was
Yeah, look,
stunned.
where I live, we live in like a chalk pit. 'Cause
Mm.
where I live on the actual coast of England, it's literally all chalk, and we get chalk in our water.
Oh,
Water, sorry, water.
yeah, no,
We get chalk. Which obviously I've been drinking it since I was a kid, so they don't do nothing to me. But like,
yeah,
but yeah, we just get all chalk in a lot of ours. But I've got a water filter now these days,
yeah,
and
and
I've been to the Brecon Beacons as well, by the way.
yeah.
Went on a school trip many years ago.
Oh, there you go.
Went into the
Oh, you
caves.
came back.
Yeah, went into a load of caves. Done underneath a
Yeah.
waterfall.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
lovely.
you probably went to yeah, because there's 4 waterfalls in Brecon. You got the main big one, and then there's a series of like 3 mini ones.
Yeah, I think we went to one of the mini ones because they weren't like super high up. It wouldn't like
Yeah.
again, we was only maybe 8, 9 at the time, so it took us to
Yeah.
one of the smaller ones. We stood underneath it.
Mm.
Yeah, good experience.
Getting baptized by Welsh water, mate. You
Basically.
know Welsh.
I will say though, Wales is a beautiful country. Like, I will say that
It is. It is stunning.
Yeah. If you ain't ever been to Wales, go. Honestly, it's a beautiful country wherever you go. In England, if you want to see real England, you go into the countryside. You just see all the little villages and that. You just don't go to the main cities. Don't go to London, Manchester.
No.
Even like the seaside towns. I mean, you can go to like, I don't know, maybe Cornwall, maybe Devon, places like that.
Mm.
But if you want to see real England, you sort of go into the country and actually see the little villages that we've got. Because like, again, it's like Wales. It's like sort of that style.
Yeah.
But if you go outside there, you come to one of the cities and that's your shithole. So don't do it.
Well, that was the thing. So I used to live in Harrogate and Cartrick, and the difference just in that was nuts. One of my favorite places I ever been to in England was the Lake District.
Yeah, Lake District.
Absolutely stunning, phenomenal.
Yeah.
But like I'm lucky, I have similar views literally right behind me. Honestly, like if you've never been to Wales, I highly recommend it.
Yeah, honestly, it's beautiful. I've been to Wales a couple of times for obviously school trip and work a couple of times as well, and every time it's brilliant. It's beautiful country.
But it's the same though. Like if you go into Cardiff or Swansea or anything like that, Talbot, it's just minging.
Yeah, but to be fair, like, I'd say Cardiff's much better than London. Like, London's an absolute. Don't want to offend anyone.
Never been to London. I don't want to go to London.
Like, I don't want to offend anyone, but it is a shithole. I'm sorry.
Like London scares me. I'll be honest with you.
It's
I'll never go.
It's really expensive, especially if you go around like the Windsor area and all this. Don't know, it's nice around that area, but if you go outside there, it's a complete and utter poo hole. Like, I've been north, south, west, east. I've been all around London, and yeah, and if you could walk down, because we was working down there once a lot of little kids ran around the corner with bottles and threw bottles at us. As we was working, yeah, that was rather nice.
I think the closest I've ever been to London was Essex. That's like Canvey Island.
I've been through Essex and that, because done a lot of travelling when I was working as a labourer. But I don't think I've actually been around Essex.
Yeah, because I went to Canvey Island. That's where Jess's grandparents live.
Mm.
And don't get me wrong, it was lovely down there. Really, really nice. That was the first time I tried lobster. Really nice.
Mm. Uh-huh.
Yeah. And that was a nice place. But for me, Wales and Scotland, you can't beat.
Yeah, I've never been to Scotland. My brother's been to Scotland many times. So he's done a lot of work
Oh,
out there, and he said it's lovely,
yeah.
lovely place
Oh,
to
it's
go.
stunning.
Mm.
Absolutely stunning. But again, everything's getting ruined by fly tipping, by new construction with like new estates, stuff like that. Like for example, a family friend owns a farm up that way, and from my house, when we first moved in, you could see all of his farmland. You could see all the other farms, stunning. You see all the cows, the sheep, this and that. Now it's just one humongous construction site,
Yeah.
and it's an eyesore.
You talk about like fly tip and things like that. This is no joke. Like where I live, literally outside my window, like it's just not right outside my window, but I can see it. We used to have a massive dump, like massive dump that used to literally you could smell it from here.
Yeah,
they changed it now. Eventually, because what they've done, they've got rid of all the rubbish they can. Now they're just waiting for all the gas to, obviously, from the rubbish underneath to go away and then turn it into like a big walking park. But that's going to take years yet. But yeah, that was our main attraction, was the dump. I ain't joking either.
Speaking about dump, Birmingham.
Yeah.
With all the rubbish, with all the bin men and bin women on strike.
Yeah.
Like I didn't realize how bad, because also you spoke to me about it previously, and I didn't realize how bad it was until I saw a video on Facebook of this Scouse lad going around Birmingham, videoing everything. And Jesus, you could smell it just by watching the video.
Yeah, but people don't realise how important bin men are. Because a lot of people, I remember back in being in school, and people would joke, "Oh, you're going to be a bin man, blah blah blah," because you like this and that.
Mate, they pay good now.
But like everyone degraded the job. Because again, it's not the most glamorous. You are literally picking other people's rubbish up. But it's one of the most important jobs in a city you can have. Because without them, look what happened to Birmingham. Look.
Yeah.
Let's look at it. Now imagine that was like in your city. Imagine that was London. They've done that in London. I think England would blow up.
Mate, I think the plague would come back.
It probably would. It could though, because obviously all the
rats and
the rats and all this, they play a very important job controlling like diseases and the spread of them and all this. Because again, like my mum said, she wouldn't allow that outside. She'd burn her own rubbish. Like she wouldn't leave it out there. She'd just burn it. But obviously she's old school. But yeah, like, to be fair, paying what they're worth, they do a very important job. Again, it's not the most glamorous job, but again, it's for a city. For a city, it's probably one of the most important jobs out there.
Yeah, same as like sewage workers as well.
Yep. Again, not glamorous. Like Colin Boy's work, he's done a lot of jobs. He used to work in the sewers, and he said it wasn't glamorous. You literally stepping in poo and all this. He's built like cess pits and all this, but it needs to be done. Like, if it doesn't get done, you don't want to know. Like I've worked around cess pits, and when you've seen water that's like a luminous green, and it's got every disease known to man in it, you're kind of glad it's there.
Yeah.
And not outside your front door.
Yeah. See, if I was there with you, I would just look at you and just go, "We like to drink with metal, because metal is
honestly, it was a luminous green. When we took the manhole lid off, I've never seen it. And the smell, I can still smell it now, and it's nearly 7 years ago now, I think, and I can still smell it.
Yeah.
And Colin, the old boy, was just like, "Yeah, I'll get down and do this." Because obviously he's done it all before now, and
he's just used to it.
And Morris, one of our other boys we've worked with, he had the wrecking bar, and he was like chipping away all the old pug around the cess pit. He's doing that, and the wrecking bar slips out his hand, goes straight in the cess pit, and it's like, that's that goal. That's that goal. We ain't getting that out.
Yeah, I can remember once. I think I was about 13, maybe 14, and I was in my mother's car, and there was someone working on one of the sewage manholes, and you could literally, it was so filled up, and it's been there for so long. When they took off the manhole cover imprinted in the shit, basically.
Yeah.
And they were there with like like a power washer
Yeah.
and one of those poles to like
Yep.
basically mush it up to thing. But and I still remember it, and I think it's absolutely hilarious. So because he was on the main road. Obviously, they had those temporary traffic lights.
Yeah.
So we were about 2 or 3 cars down, and you could see him, and he was a young lad as well. So you see him digging down, and they must have created like an air pocket, and they just went,
Oh.
and there was shit
Yeah.
everywhere,
Look,
and you can see him just there like this.
regretting everything. I've not been in that situation, but I've been around those sort of man. Obviously, I can always remember this. I'll never forget it. Me and Martin York, another guy I used to work with, we got tasked to all this man. I was around a place called GE.
Oh yeah, GE Aviation.
Yeah, there's one city near close to us we had to go to. So I was doing them all day, and then we had to do one just right outside the toilets. Right? So I was like, oh, Martin, this is how I can get this done here. Literally, we're working on it. And we use this flush, right? Because literally the toilet's there and we're working it. We use this flush and we're thinking, no. Straight past us was this turd, mate. It was massive. Literally went right past me. And I looked at Mum and thought, I don't get paid enough for this. And you go, oh no, all the off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just see like King Kong's like thumb just slide past.
Literally, we heard it. It was comical because you heard the flush. And we knew it was coming. They just see it go whoop, and it's just like,
oh, fair play.
Mm.
Oh, I got some stories of mistakes I've made. Like one of my favorite ones I did. So we was doing painting and decorating, and one of the guys that we hired, he was a plasterer.
Yeah.
And we worked in this house in Cardiff, really posh house, and they've just put new plasterboard up on the walls, and they skimmed over it, but we didn't move the piano out the room, and it was really awkward, and it was quite a big piano, and so we had to try and sort of shimmy it through this door frame, and I was only there for like a week at this point. So I thought, oh, if we lift this slightly, we might be able to think.
Mm.
So I'm on one corner, Ben was on the other. I lifted it, my hand slipped because I was sweating. I slipped, and my ass went straight through the plasterboard. Mate, it was literally like a Looney Tunes scene because there was a perfect outlay of my ass. And I went, Ben, I've just stuck my ass through the wall. And he has a look and he goes, oh, I'm going to have to do that again now. Mate, I was sat in the wall.
It's easy done with plasterboard though because it's not as strong. You can literally put your fizz through it. I wish I was there. That'd been funny. That would have been funny.
Mate, you would have pissed yourself. And once I almost lost my job for this. I was putting all the paint back in the van, and my boss Mark, he said, make sure all the lids are shut. So I'm putting the paint in, slapping all the tubs. I'm like, yeah, that's fine. We drive home. He's like, right, let's unpack everything. Open the doors. There's white paint everywhere.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I almost lost my job for that. But I spent about 4 or 5 hours cleaning everything, and the worst thing was it was oil-based paint.
Oh, great.
It wasn't water-based, so it wasn't easy to clean it up.
Oil's horrendous. Obviously, water you can just wash it off, can't you? But
yeah,
oil you can't do that because it just spreads everywhere. Everywhere.
It did. It looked like a Picasso painted down, like left-handed. He was minging. But yeah, oh man, I do have some funny stories.
Yeah, I can always remember one that's what it is. I can never forget this. He's worked for called Dave Summit. His name was lovely bloke. Like really, he's a bit younger than me. He wasn't like the brightest fella, like, but he was lovely. I mean, we was working in Warwickshire, and there was this golf club that's building an hotel onto their golf club. So the bank went up and down as we was doing all the pathway and that, and then he's on top, like piling down all the grit with a barrel.
Yeah.
So he's doing it, right? And he's doing it, and he gets a barrel bit too heavy for him, right? So as he's gone like that, and obviously he's gone with it, sort of gone with it. Instead of letting go, he held on, right? And no joke, he's gone down face first down this bank like that. And he hit the bottom, right? We thought, oh no, is he already got up? Covered in mud, his whole face was just covered in mud, right? And we just pissed ourselves because it literally on face first just slid down like it was all mud. Yeah. He hit the bottom. You just like, hey, you went, yeah, I'm alright. And he just carried on. It was like, But instead of letting go of it, he went with it. So, Dave, why didn't you
Oh,
let go of it? He went, oh, I thought I could save it. He went, no, it's physics, mate. You can't.
yeah.
Honestly, it was funny as anything. Because
Oh,
all you can see is him going down, his feet sticking up in the air.
he's like a scorpion on
Yeah.
the slide.
Oh, God,
Oh,
Dave.
bloody hell. Good old Dave. Oh, right. Well, I don't think I got anything else to add on. Otherwise, we'd be here for 6 hours just
Yeah.
talking our
Basically,
life
short
experiences.
story is that everything's gone up, wages have stayed the same, we're all getting robbed, and Theatre games these days are quite shit.
Yeah.
And
And
small
very
indie
expensive.
companies outdone all the biggest.
Hmm.
And if you haven't, not sponsored, go and play Expedition 33, one of the best games ever made.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's going to conclude tonight's episode.
So what,
Oh mate, I'm literally I'm sweating.
boiling here.
Oh, I got bloody work in the morning as well. Right, but yeah, that's going to conclude today's episode. Thank you ever so much for tuning in. Obviously the people that's currently in stream, and to you at home watching on YouTube while you sat there with your coffee and giggling to yourself while me and Metal are sweating our tits off. So
Literally.
thank you ever so much. Yeah, but maybe consider subscribing, dropping a like, and let us know what you think, what it's like to live as an adult in 2025. Do you miss the 99 being 99? That's the main question for us.
And the meal deal being £3.
Yes, yes, the meal deal. Yeah, we need to start a debate. I'll be down to sign a petition.
I'll go to the House of Parliament. I'll take it to the House of Parliament.
I can imagine you in the House of Commons just going, Tesco meal deal needs to be £3.
Me and Keir Starmer are alright.
Yeah, look, if I beat you in an arm wrestle, the meal deal comes back down to £3.
I'll do that and all. I had the whole nation behind me, so
Oh yeah, 100%.
if I lost, I'd probably get lynched, but
We need royal in Parliament. No, you don't, mate. I would break everything there.
it'd probably
I really would.
break his belt and use his tie.
Right. Quick story. I had a job interview today, and I was successful. But there's a slight issue. So I put on a belt today. I had my white shirt tucked into my jeans. You gotta look smart. And I really needed a pee. So I rushed to the toilet, and my belt buckle would not undo at all. So I was really hot. There was no aircon, so I was sweating. And when I get agitated, I suddenly gain the ability to have additional strength. So I lost my cool with my belt, and I snapped the buckle. Well, not just the buckle, the actual pin that goes into the belt, it wouldn't work. So I had to improvise. Now, one of the core values for this certain company is learn, adapt, and overcome. So I took my belt off, I rolled it up, stuck in my pocket, I undid my tie, and used that as a belt. So I pulled up my shirt just a little bit to fold over the thing so you couldn't really notice it. So did the interview, blah blah blah. Stood up, shook the individual's hand, and they noticed that I had a very unusual belt. And he said, "What's going on with it?" And I said, "Well," so I told him obviously the story, and I said, "Look, one of your core values is learn, adapt, and overcome." I realized that I messed up. I adapted to the situation, and I overcame it by using my tie. The interviewer and the person I was scribing obviously takes a note. We were all pissing ourselves laughing. Probably, arguably, that's probably why I got the job.
So if you want to land a job, break your belt, use your time.
Yeah. Oh, but yeah.
Now imagine that in Parliament. He stood up, no belt, just
They
his
fall
tie.
asleep in Parliament, though.
That is true, yeah, they just don't care, do they? They all fall asleep and yeah.
They get paid ridiculous just to fall asleep.
Yeah. I can do that.
Oh, yeah. But yes, until then, take care, look after yourself, and we'll catch you all on the next one. Toodles.
Doodles.